Angeles Rams against the St. Louis Cardinals.
The sellout sign is up here in St. Louis, Busch Stadium. The Cardinals, the new glamour team in the NFL. They've won 4 in a row against the Rams, who are looking for wild card down the line. And the Cardinals are sitting good in this right position now because the Giants lead Dallas 16-7 with about 6 minutes to go. If the Cowboys lose, the Cardinals win. St. Louis is in first place. And good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Hank Stram. So the Cardinals have a lot of incentive. And I guess if they continue to score 30 a game with Lomax to Green as the big play combination, Jim Hannafin will continue to have that Irish smile.
Well, he'd be full of happiness, no question about that. But the big thing, I think, anytime you talk about St. Louis, you talk about and think about Lomax and Green. And Green will probably catch a lot of balls here this afternoon, but they have a lot of other weapons, namely Otis Anderson, who is a great runner and an excellent receiver, plus Doug Marsh, who has come on very strong as a tight end. He ought to get a lot of business today, and the primary thing the St. Louis Cardinals have to do, they have to score early and often to keep the ball away from the Los Angeles Rams and get Dickerson out of the game early.
Now, the Rams have always had a history of bouncing back after tough losses. They lost to the 49ers, but any team that plays the Cardinals have to wonder, where are we going to get the points to win a ball game? Where are the Rams going to get it?
I think it's important for the Rams to be able to do a good job on 1st and 10 situations to control the line of scrimmage, and they're going to do that with their great running back, Eric Dickerson. He's one of the great backs in the National Football League, plus the fact that he's an outstanding receiver. Along with that, they have a fine young quarterback in Jeff Kemp, who has a capacity to throw the ball long. Anytime that you play against a team that uses a man-for-man coverage like the St. Louis Cardinals, you've always got a chance for big plays, and that's what we can look for this afternoon.
All right, a beautiful afternoon for football. 63 degrees in the first weekend in November. The wind is not a factor right now. Chance of showers, but the skies are blue right now. As Neil O'Donoghue gets set to kick off, the Rams have won the toss, and Barry Redden is back there, along with Drew Hill. And the kickoff are underway. Cardinals and Rams, and Barry Redden at the 8-yard line will run it back. Redden brings it out beyond the 25-yard line. So the Rams, who lost 33-0 to the 49ers last week, will take over on offense. Jeff Kemp, the quarterback. He'll have Eric Dickerson. Hank talked a lot about him and the roles he could play. Mike Gooman is the U-back. Henry Ellard and Drew Hill, the wide receivers. In the offensive line, David Hill is a tight end. Irv Pankey is playing left tackle. Bill Bain continues to play right tackle in place of the injured Jackie Slater. There's 300-pound Bill Bain. Maybe he's 295. First and 10 at the 27. Dickerson gets the call, and the Cardinals are there. Boy, the Cardinals really done a good job against the tough runners that they have faced in recent weeks. Randy Holloway, David Galloway, good inside pass rush, and Mark Duda tough against the run. Howard, Ullerman, and Jr., the linebackers. Jr. really roams all over the place. Lionel Washington and Wayne Smith are the cornerbacks. Lee Nelson once again at strong safety for Leonard Smith. And the free safety, Benny Perrin, who also helped make the tackle. No gain on the play. Gooman in motion. Up the middle, Dickerson, first down, and Eric Dickerson may go all the way. Dickerson in Cardinal territory, and Lionel Washington knocks him out of bounds, but not before Dickerson gets inside the 25-yard line for a 38-yard pickup.
The one thing that's very, very important, Dick, is the fact that the Rams are using a balanced formation. That's a counter play. Gooman, number 44, leads through and makes a nice block, along with the offensive center, Doug Smith, number 56. Dickerson does a good job of bouncing to the outside, and down the sideline he goes, finally knocked out of bounds over here on the far side by Lionel Washington, number 48.
Dickerson only gained 38 yards in the entire ball game last week. He's got it on one play. Barry Redden comes in. Kemp going to the air, going for Ellard, but overthrows him. Incomplete. Henry Ellard, one of the speedsters that Hank was talking about at the outset. Boy, they have a load of them, including Ron Brown, the Olympic relay star.
And Drew Hill is also a flyer. And, of course, Jeff Kemp has a great capacity. Really, he's got a very, very strong arm, and he's capable of getting the ball up on top. And especially, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to see a lot of man-for-man coverage, and they'll try to go up on top often, I would think.
Kemp had a rough week last week. Wasn't all his fault. He's got 8 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, though, this season. Second down and 10 at the 24-yard line. Redden inside the 20-yard line. Barry Redden, who is Dickerson's backup, not playing as much this year as he did last year, was the second leading rusher, and if he stays healthy, he's a good hard runner off the bench. Thomas Howard and Benny Perrin combined to make the tackle. It'll be second down and 3 for the Rams.
I think Barry Redden is kind of the counterpart of Stump Mitchell of St. Louis, because he also is a great running back for them and gives them a dimension when Otis Anderson is not in the game.
Opening minutes. Dickerson is back in the lineup. Third down and 3. Dickerson trips. Holloman made sure he wasn't going to get up and go anywhere, and Holloman also picked up the loose ball, but the whistle had blown, and Dickerson did not get the first down, and now Lansford will come in to try a field goal, and he has struggled on artificial turf, hasn't he?
He really has. He's only kicked 1 for 4, and most kickers, you know, have a shoe on their right foot, and they saw off the cleats on the inside so they don't get any friction with the synthetic turf. He kicks barefooted, and I think sometimes a barefooted kicker has a tendency to concern himself with a turf bruise and kicks a little bit too high in the ball, and that's why they don't have success.
His longest was 36. This will be a 33-yard attempt. Holding is Nolan Cromwell. Lansford's kick is good, and the Rams are on the scoreboard. So sparked by an Eric Dickerson run, which was 49 yards. He already has surpassed last week's total. It's LA 3, and the Cardinals, Mike Lansford, who just put the Rams in front with a 33-yard field goal, will be kicking off now to the Cardinals, and they have Stump Mitchell back there. There is Mitchell, who's second in the NFC in kickoff returns. Not a long kick. It's high, and taken to the 9 by Mitchell. Mitchell straight ahead. Stump Mitchell to the 40-yard line. 31-yard return, and gives the Cardinals good field position to start their first drive of the game. A.J. Jones makes the tackle. The Cardinals will have Neil Lomax, who's hot as a pistol. Otis Anderson and Earl Farrell. Roy Green and Pat Tilley, who did not practice all week but is running well in practice. Doug Marsh, the tight end, and a healthy offensive line, and that has been, Hank, one of the keys to the Cardinals' success.
Yes, talking to Jim Hannafin, he's indicated that really the big success story of this team really is the fact that they are.
I'll tell you, he slithered in there pretty well, Hank.
Well, I think what happened, watch the guard pull, watch the right guard pull, and Youngblood follows the pull of the tackle and the guard and gets good penetration. Nobody touched him, but I think what happened, they thought maybe that Youngblood would take a deeper route inside, and he didn't. And as a result, he was able to make the play on the quarterback. Great play by Jack Youngblood, number 85.
And a loss on the play. It'll be second down and 19. Back at the 44-yard line, so the Cardinals are back in their own territory. Here's Roy Green, 81, trying to find a place. The Rams, Youngblood jumps offside. Screen pass to Otis Anderson, who fights his way to midfield. No penalty flags down, and Youngblood got back. Eckern makes the tackle on Otis Anderson, who gets back just about to midfield and into Ram territory.
I think anytime that you have a great player like Roy Green, that time, you know, he went in motion, but they're trying to get him in a variety of positions, so it's very hard for the Rams to tee off and find out where he is. That creates a moment of indecision, and that's what they're seeking by using him in so many different positions. That's what they try to do in the last play with Roy Green.
Coming into the game, leading the NFL in yards, 956, the most touchdowns for a receiver in the NFC. Cedric Mack comes in, number 47, as a wide receiver out of the spread. Third and 13. Lomax is tackled. A helmet is loose, but Lomax is sacked back at the 45-yard line by Reggie Doss, who doesn't usually pick up any. Good defense by the Rams on that sequence.
Yeah, the Rams really coming into this game have only given up 99 yards rushing per game. They've given a lot on passes, 255 yards versus the forward pass. But overall, really, they've only given up 19 points per game in the games they've played so far.
Third fewest in the NFC, so the Cardinals are going to have to contend with that. Carl Birdsong will be punting to Henry Ellert. Leroy Irvin is with Ellard, and both of them have the ability to break one. Ellard has scored 2 touchdowns that way this year.
You know, the other thing about the Rams is they play a zone defense. It's hard to get deep, and they do a good job with a rush against the run. So the intermediate area is the area that you want to attack when you play the Rams.
Penalty flags are down. The referee today is Bob McElwee, and he'll tell us what it's all about.
Ball start, number 31, offense.
Earl Farrell, so will mark 5 yards off and kick it again.
And by intermediate area, we're talking about the area between the linebackers and the defensive backs.
The officials. Cardinals have won 4 in a row. They won 6 straight games back in 1977, a season that ended up kind of flat when they dropped their last 4 and ended up 500 for the year. They're looking for higher rainbows this season. So Birdsong will be kicking from his 26. Good kick. Deep kick. Ellard will let it bounce inside the 10. And it goes into the end zone for a touchback.
That's what happens on synthetic turf. You can afford to do that, but normally it'll take a forward roll and go into the end zone just like it did.
That was a 59-yard punt. Jim Hannafin told us in practice that he's very pleased with that offensive line, the fact that they've stayed healthy, but the one thing they want to look for, the defense. Can they learn to dominate before the end of the year?
And they're getting better and better all the time, but that's his real concern. He feels very good about the defensive line, but hopefully they can get up to the next level of excellence, and that's what he's seeking.
8:53 to go in the first quarter. Jeff Kemp and the Rams lead 3-0. Dickerson up the middle. Don't give him any room, and Eric Dickerson has a first down beyond the 40-yard line to the 41. Lee Nelson and Benny Perrin from the secondary make the tackle, a pickup of 22 yards.
Watch the pitch to the outside. Good blocking. Look at Bill Bain, number 62. Does a great job of knocking out the defensive end, and all you need to do is get some kind of a gap. Watch, he cuts back. Watch the run. Over pursuit by Junior, number 54. Cuts back to the inside. Scampering up the field and is finally tackled downfield after another big game.
Barry Redden replaces Dickerson, gives him a breather. 1st and 10 at the 41. In motion is Mike Barber, the tight end. Fake, watch out, Kemp. And throwing into the turf is E.J. Junior, who certainly did not get influenced on that play.
One thing about throwing play action passes, Dick, you got to make sure that the backside is secure, because the linebacker, if you're not careful, doesn't have anybody blocking him. Junior didn't have anybody that time. They didn't pick him up, and the quarterback is back is to the linebacker. He's got no chance, and that's why the sack was made on the last play.
E.J. Junior, who, by the way, wears a beeper for his visits to the hospital care unit. He was part of a chemical dependency problem, suspended the first 4 games last year. Now he's helping other people.
Kemp wished he had a beeper on that time so it could have hurt him as he was rushing the quarterback.
Second down at 20 at back of the 31, and Kemp under pressure by Curtis Greer, and sacked. Not yet. He fires it away, and now they're going to whistle it dead. They're going to say he was in the grass back at the 16-yard line, and Curtis Greer agrees with that official's decision.
Curtis Greer, number 75, he's a containment man, means he's got to keep everybody on the inside. He almost gets beaten on the outside, but finally gets the hook on Kemp and gets possession of him, and of course they declare the ball incomplete. They say he's in the grasp of the defensive lineman, and that's the call on the play. Number 75, Curtis Greer,
who has 24 sacks in his last 26 regular season games, as John Robinson wonders why his team is going backwards. That was a 15-yard loss. It is 3rd down and 34 for the Rams on their own 17.
That's really, I don't like that rule, because I think if you have quarterbacks with escapability skill and they get out of the grass, they've got no chance to make a big play.
They give it to Dickerson. Dickerson to the 25. He may get them all back. And Eric Dickerson still going, and Dickerson has the first down, or close to it. He does. Is that amazing? They needed 34 yards. Let's see where they spot the ball. It's close to a first down. He got at least 33 on that.
Boy, he's amazing. They send Goon in motion on the right side. Look at the blocking at the point of attack. He goes through the traffic, comes out the other end, switches the field, missed tackle by number 44, Wayne Smith, and he goes all the way down the far sideline, just enough to make the necessary yardage for the first down. Oh, he didn't make it.
He didn't make it. He was 1 yard short. But Eric Dickerson has gained, Hank, 105 yards and 5 carries in this ball game, and John Misko is in the punt. He's been up and down this year, a little better than he was last year, and that's his average. Stump Mitchell is back, one of the ranking punt returners in the league, 4th in the NFC. Well, Dickerson is 33 yards. They missed by 1. Misko's kick and a fair catch called for by Stump Mitchell on the 16-yard line. So with 6 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the first quarter, it is 3-0 Rams, and a penalty marker is down. Well, do you think Dickerson's come back from his poorest rushing game of the year?
I'll go way out on the limb and say he looks like he's getting off to a good start. You know, the other thing about Dickerson.
Personal foul, number 63 on a kicking team.
Mike McDonald.
How about the Giants winning 19-7 against the Dallas Cowboys? I wonder when it was last that they beat the Cowboys twice in one season.
Had to be in the 60s somewhere. It's a post-possession penalty, and we'll bring the ball out to the 31-yard line when we come back to Busch Stadium. Max, 17 touchdown passes, leads the NFC. So is his yardage of over 2,600 yards. Having a terrific year. First and 10 Cardinals on the 31-yard line. And here's Otis Anderson, who jukes his way for a couple of yards. Reggie Doss and Carl Edgern, the strong defender and linebacker, makes the tackle. Cheer went up when they posted the Giants' victory over the Dallas Cowboys, so the Cardinals can take over first place, undisputed fashion, with a victory over the Rams today. In other games, the Green Bay Packers beat the New Orleans Saints.
They're hot offensively. They're scoring a lot of points. And look at this. Minnesota, 27-24 over Tampa.
Second down and 6. Less than 6 minutes to go first quarter. In motion, Anderson way out. Lomax dumps it off to Earl Farrell, his fullback. And Farrell is hit by Mel Owens and company. Shy of a first down by a couple. Other scores now. The Chicago Bears, boy, is that a confidence builder? Beat the Raiders 17-6.
And the Raiders lost both quarterbacks, I understand, in the game. And Ray Guy had to wind up playing quarterback. San Diego 38, Indianapolis 10.
And Cleveland beats Buffalo. The Bills still have not won. The Browns, their second win of the year. The winner gets the rights to Lake Erie.
In December.
Third down and 1. Of course. Third down and a long one. Here is Otis Anderson turning the corner, and he gets the first down to the 45-yard line. Reggie Doss tripped him up. And a good block by the man who just picked up Otis Anderson, the tight end Doug Marsh.
All it is one-on-one blocking. Everybody, all the linemen are getting ahead on the defensive people. There's a seam. They try to spread them out and create some kind of an opening for the ball carrier. Otis Anderson, he got it. And Reggie Doss, number 71, finally tripped him up after he made the necessary yardage for the first down.
If you're wondering, the Cardinals have been a slow-starting team this year. They've come on at the finish. Lomax on first down was going for Cedric Mack. The pass was thrown behind him. Mack, who, like Roy Green, is a converted defensive back, and they have high hopes for him. They like his speed and his hands, just like they like that in Roy Green.
And Cedric Mack really hasn't played enough on offense yet, number 47, to be involved in the intricate pattern and adjustment of the reads downfield. They like to throw to him on straight patterns up the field where they can utilize his speed and also throw crossing patterns because he runs so well once he makes the catch. But that's, I'm sure, that's how we'll see him being used here today. Look at this. Pittsburgh beats the Houston Oilers.
And Philadelphia, Detroit heading for overtime. Second and 10 at the 46. Anderson. Still going. Just shy of midfield. It'll be third and about 6.5. Nolan Cromwell makes the tackle on Otis Anderson. Good second effort. Tough to bring down.
And he likes to run for the I formation there. He's got good depth. He makes the cut inside of Jack Youngblood, number 85, and look at the effort. Continuous effort. Not second effort, but continuous effort on the part of Otis Anderson.
He had 150 total yards last week, despite the fact that he was under the weather.
That's right. He also had the flu last week, and so he tried to get a lot of rest and a lot of juice all week long. He looks like he's in good shape today.
3rd and 6 at midfield. Lomax gets it to guess who? Roy Green, and a first down. Out of bounds at the 33-yard line, a gain of 18. Johnny Johnson and Nolan Cromwell knocked him out of bounds, but there's number 81. They'll go to him a lot, as you say.
Roy Green is lined up here in the slot formation, breaks to the outside, and they hit him right on the numbers, talking about the numbers on the field. And he's such a great runner once he makes a reception that he's hard to tackle one-on-one, although in this case, Johnny Johnson finally makes the tackle, and he knocks him out of bounds. But, you know, sometimes you have a great receiver like Green. If they double cover him, you take him out of the game. Somehow, some way, you got to find a way to get the ball to him, and I think the Cardinals have done a good job of doing that.
3:40 to go in the first quarter. Doug Marsh, the tight end, in motion, and Anderson is hit and hit immediately by George Andrews. We talked about the Rams linebackers, and a lot of people may not know because they don't get much print in ink is George Andrews, Owens, and of course Jimmy Collins, one of the two middle linebackers.
Yes, and Eckern also is a very fine inside linebacker. He's very, very tough. He's the commander-in-chief of the linebackers in the defense and really does a super job.
Andrews, like Owens, the other outside backer, is a former number 1 draft pick. It'll be 2nd down and 13 at the 35-yard line of the Rams. Inside, Otis Anderson. And Carl Eckern just wouldn't let go of his jersey. Not a picture tackle, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, the only thing that's important is to knock him down, and that's what he did. He held down very tight, put him in the vise, and got him on the turf.
The claw. 3rd down, loss of a yard, 3rd and 14. Clock running, 2:35 to go. John Robinson, who figures a 10-6 record, will get the Rams in the playoffs, so he figures they've got to win 5 of their last 7.
Yeah, he was very loose and very confident yesterday, and we talked to him.
Yeah, as opposed to the New Orleans game when he seemed a little bit on the uptight side a few weeks ago, because he won that game easily. Lomax in the pocket, dumps it out now to Willard Harrell, and Harrell is hit at the 32-yard line. They're going to be shy of 9 yards for the first down. Leroy Irvin just wouldn't let Harrell get away.
That's the kind of a situation you like with a back one-on-one on a defensive back or a linebacker. But Leroy Irvin, number 47, really made a super tackle in the open field.
So Neil O'Donoghue, who's tied for 2nd in the NFC in scoring with 71 points. He kicked 2 against the Eagles, including a 48-yard field goal. This one will be a 49-yard attempt.
He kicks the ball better from long distances than he does it short because he attacks the ball better and gets a better follow-through. Let's see what he does here.
Holding will be Perrin, trying to tie it up for the Cardinals with 1:30 to go in the first quarter. And O'Donoghue's kick is good. We have a tie score here in St. Louis, and for Neil O'Donoghue, that's his 7th field goal this year from 44 yards and beyond. He can kick and beat. Irishman, 6'6" Neil O'Donoghue, tying the game at 3-3. We'll kick off now. Barry Redden is deep. Drew Hill is about 5 yards in front of him. And it's going for Drew Hill at the 2-yard line. Tripped up. Randy Love trips up Drew Hill. Well, next Saturday, college football on CBS Sports. The number 1 ranked Washington Huskies meet the 18th ranked USC Trojans at 3:30 Eastern Time. The big story there, Hank, is that the Washington Huskies can clinch a Rose Bowl berth with a win over the Trojans.
And Don James has really done a super job with a Washington team. Played his collegiate football at the University of Miami. And I knew him way back when he was still at the University of Miami. And he's really done a great job.
And John Robinson, of course, coached at USC. You never lose those ties, do you?
No, you don't.
1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. Dickerson with Guman blocking. A crowd out, and the Cardinals come up and force the play, and a loss of 2 yards. Thomas Howard and Lee Nelson. Howard, acquired from the Kansas City Chiefs just prior to the opening game, gets through traffic pretty well, Hank.
Yeah, he sifted through the blockers in good shape and got the penetration that you need to make that kind of a play.
Second and 12 at the 20.
Cardinal defense has kind of come alive in the last few weeks. They've had 10 sacks in the last 2 games coming into this one. That's what Floyd Peters likes. 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Second and 12 now at the 20. Dickerson was tripped up. Mark Duda stalled him, and Thomas Howard and Randy Holloway made the tackle.
You know what's happening, Dick, up front? The Rams are using a balanced formation, meaning they have 2.
And Eric, excuse me, Hank.
Eric is on the ground.
And he is in pain, it looks like.
Here we see Eric running a counter play, taking a step to the right, and then he sees an opening on the right side, decides to take it, and it looks like Randy Holloway hitting from the side, and possibly that could have been the problem on the injury. Let's see what happens and what they decide is wrong.
This, of course, would be an incredibly tough break for the Rams if Eric Dickerson is injured and can't play. He's on his feet now, and John Robinson says, come on out. You know, in preseason, he was hit by Nolan Cromwell in a crossing pattern and was on the field motionless for 45 minutes. And don't think that they were holding their breaths in the Ram camp then. And he would turn out to be all right with a neck injury.
Yeah, that makes you change your philosophy about throwing passes deep downfield in a hurry when that kind of a play occurs in practice.
Especially to people like Eric Dickerson.
You're right.
He's walking off, and hopefully he'll come back.
We mentioned Randy Holloway. They got hit for nothing, got him off waivers from the Minnesota Vikings, and boy, what a timely acquisition that was.
This may be the last play of the first quarter. 3rd down and 8 at the 24. Redden replaces Dickerson. Kemp fires. Incomplete. He was going for Ron Brown. Off his fingertips. It'll be 4th down as the clock shows 0, and there is the gun ending the first quarter. Eric Dickerson has gained 107 yards. We hope he's all right. He's on the Rams sideline, but after 1 quarter in St. Louis, it's LA 3, St. Louis 3. Dick Stockton and Hank Stram welcoming you back to Busch Stadium as we start the second quarter with a John Misko punt. We're tied at 3-3. This game, by the way, did sell out, but not in time to lift the local blackout.
And that's really a surprise when you're playing as well as the Cardinals and you can't sell out at home on Thursday. That's unusual, isn't it?
I would think so. They certainly are an exciting football team offensively. That's what people like to see. Misko kicking to stump Mitchell, and Mitchell at the 41-yard line crawls his way to the 43. And that's where the Cardinals will take over, and they once again will have good field position. There's Bill Bidwell, who is the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals, and there were stories that he was going to sell the ball club to the people that own the St. Louis baseball Cardinals, the Busch family. And we asked him about that yesterday. He denied that, but said, hey, I will listen to anyone, anytime about selling the ball club.
Yeah, it was a pretty good answer he gave. He said, listen, I'm going to sell the club. I'd put it on the open market and make sure I got the most I could for the ball club, which makes a lot of sense.
He also said he doesn't want to sell out all the seats anyway because they get a lot of walk-up sale from Illinois and surrounding areas. 1st and 10 at the 42. Lomax has a lot of time. Can his receivers get open? And the answer is no. Cromwell was defending Otis Anderson, incomplete.
Well, you talk about the hound in the hair that time. That was a great illustration of it. He was all over the place and finally had enough poise and confidence to get rid of the ball before he got sacked.
By the way, Joe Bostic, the right guard who was shaken up early, is back in the ball game at his position. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 42-yard line. Neil Lomax depends on that protection from his people up front, and they've been doing a pretty good job of it this year. They have a group called the Neil Lomax Protection Agency. In fact, he has a a sign, and their pictures, the top is locker.
Very smart quarterback.
Some people buy steaks for their linemen. Others put their picture up.
He ought to put the picture and carry it around in his wallet.
2nd and 10. Anderson looking for room. Gets to the 47-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 yards for Otis Anderson.
You know, it's amazing how plays spread around the league. The Washington Redskins ran that counter play with great success, and now everybody in the league is running it with the off guard and the off tackle pulling and running through the hole. And the great thing about copying like that is it's not only good for your offense, but your defense gets to see it that much more. And for that reason, it's a very good thing to add to your repertoire.
Pat Tilley comes out to the right. Roy Green and Cedric Mack to the top of your screen. 3rd down and 6.
Blitz.
Pressure. They're going up on top for Roy Green, who has everyone beaten, and Roy Green is there. Touchdown, St. Louis. Three-yard play, and for Roy Green, that is his 9th touchdown reception of the year, and he beat Johnny Johnson, the free safety, by a wide margin, Hank.
The reason he did, they were blitzing on the play. Johnson had him man for man, and there's no way in the world anybody's going to cover him man for man. He got a big jump on him, and in no way, Lomax threw the ball right up on top. He got too many people on the field. He finally got him off now on a kick. Talking about
high snap, and the kick is up. The kick is good, but penalty markers are all over the place.
You know, we talked about the offensive line earlier. There was a great illustration how well they picked up the blitz.
Defense, point is good. Foul is assessed on the kickoff.
They'll assess the 5 yards on the kickoff. Roy Green accepting congratulations from his mom, I'm sure.
He's all smiles. You can't see it because the phone's blocking his face, but he's all smiles. Here it is. You see the blitz coming. Andrews is coming, number 52. They throw the ball over the top, and there you see Johnny Johnson trying to cover him man for man. He located the ball over his shoulder beautifully. The ball was right on the money. Touchdown, Roy Green and St. Louis Cardinals.
And we talked about the Neil Lomax Protection Agency, and they are in business and doing a good job. Sharp, Steve, Clark, Bostic, and Tootie Robbins. A bow, gentlemen. Here it is.
There we see it now. That time he's in a slot, and they were covering tight coverage that time with Johnny Johnson. It looked like Cromwell maybe should have been in the hole. You can't tell what the coverage was, but it was unusual that he didn't have any inside help whatsoever. Doesn't make any difference. He got the touchdown pass. Roy Green on Johnny Johnson. Touchdown. St. Louis Cardinals.
10-3 to score. The Cardinals lead, and now O'Donohue will be kicking off when we come back. They did it in a hurry. The Cardinals taking the lead, 10-3, with less than 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Cardinals know that the Cowboys lost to the Giants. Drew Hill is back with Barry Redden. The kick is going over the Drew Hill side out of bounds. So what they made up with 5 yards on the extra point, they go back.
Out of bounds. Free kick with a 5-yard penalty.
Want to remind you again that next Saturday, college football on CBS. Washington can get a trip to Pasadena in the Rose Bowl with a win over USC. Washington crushed California yesterday, and USC beat Stanford.
And USC really has been a kind of surprise team. I don't think anybody really expected them to be as good as they have been, and which is a great tribute to their coaching staff and their operation.
Ted Toller, who took over for John Robinson. Of course, against the Huskies, they're going to be facing one of the nation's stingiest defenses. They're going to kick again from the 35. They had marked off 5 yards against the Rams, and now they put it back.
After scoring a quick touchdown, that's the one thing you don't want to have happen, is to kick the ball out of bounds and provide them with a good opportunity to bring the ball back with good field position. And the Rams do that as well as anybody in the league. They have a great return team.
It'll be Barry Redden at the 5-yard line. Redden strong as he shows there and brings it out to the 30-yard line. There is Roy Green and Neil Lomax, a combination that has worked to success this year. And as you pointed out, Hank, they have other weapons to go to, but there's no sense in avoiding going to the people that's made it work all year.
No, I think when you have a great receiver like Green, somehow, some way, in spite of what the coverage is, you got to figure out ways to get the ball to him, and they're doing a good job of that in St. Louis.
Lomax is 6 of 7 for 93 yards and, of course, the touchdown pass.
And Rod Dowhauer has really done a great job with their offensive scheme.
We're going to talk about the influence Dowhauer has had on Lomax. Dickerson is back in the lineup. He's had his ankle taped, gets the pitch from Kemp, cutting inside, and Eric Dickerson takes it out close to the 40-yard line, near a first down, and so Eric Dickerson has made a good recovery. Curtis Greer and Benny Perrin make the tackle. Dickerson gained 107 yards in the first quarter, was shaken up toward the end of the period.
Now, the Cardinals are playing an unbalanced defense. We don't want to be too technical here, but they're playing an unbalanced defense, an undershifted, overshifted defense against a balanced formation. And anytime you do that, there's always some seams in there, and the Rams are really taking good advantage of it right now.
First and 10 at the 40-yard line. Cardinals lead 10-3. Kemp, short drop, fires to Drew Hill, and it's almost intercepted by Wayne Smith. That pass came up a little bit short. They were going to Drew Hill, one of those deep threats that you talked about.
You know, I think one thing, Jeff Kemp is a very bright quarterback, very intelligent, has a good arm, but he wants to make sure he's very careful that he doesn't do anything that hurts the team. And I think sometimes, instead of really letting the ball go, he aims the ball a little bit to make sure. That time, I think he tried to guide the ball instead of let it go, and for that reason, he threw it poorly and it fell into the turf.
The Rams feel that if it gets down to Kemp versus Lomax, they could be on the short end. They want to do other things and not put him on the spot as much.
But they have to take advantage of the man-for-man coverage, and they got to go up on top often enough to get the possibility of a big play.
Dickerson breaks one tackle, breaks Benny Perrin's attempt, and has a first down into Cardinal territory at the 46-yard line. Good running. Lionel Washington finally made it count, a gain of 14.
There's a great illustration of stretching a loss or a no-gainer into a gain. Look at that. He's almost tackled in the backfield, breaks the tackle. Look at Benny Perrin. But the great thing about it is he's got the ball away from pressure, is able to use a straight arm, and was able to get down the far sideline and pick up the necessary yardage for the first down. Watch the point of attack. It's all cluttered up. There's the push by the offensive lineman. He cuts away to the outside and makes a great move on Benny Perrin with the straight arm and breaks down the far sideline and is finally tackled, but not until after he made the necessary yardage for the first down.
We saw Mark Duda, who is tangled up there first with Dennis Hara, and Duda is the injured Cardinal on the field right now. He is the second-year player from the University of Maryland and very tough against the run. And with 12:40 to go in the second quarter, we'll take a timeout. To tackle Mark Duda on the Cardinal sideline, and his place taken by the 10-year veteran Elo Groom.
And Elo Groom is really not 100%. He's had trouble with his knees and hasn't been playing very much for that reason. Didn't expect to play much today, but he's got to play because of the injury situation like it is.
First and 10 Rams at the Cardinal 46. Barry Redden is the lone setback. And Redden gets the call, and he is hit at the line by Galloway and thrown for a loss of a yard. David Galloway, who has been a relentless defensive lineman, had 2 sacks against Philadelphia, 4 for the year, and that's pretty good for a tackle and not an end.
You know, the other thing about the Cardinal defense, they're playing without Al Baker, who did not start the game. Here's a good shot at Galloway, number 65, and he's really been a tower of strength inside. And now they lose Mark Duda and are playing with Groom, so they're without 2 regulars in their defensive line right now. Talking about the St. Louis Cardinals.
Ball at the 46-yard line. Dickerson is back in there, and Dickerson on a fake. Watch out. Safety blitz and a completed pass to Henry Ellard to the 25-yard line. Lionel Washington makes the tackle.
Roughing the passer, number 23 defense.
Benny Perrin on a safety blitz got a little bit overzealous on Jeff Kemp.
And you see the way Kemp threw that last ball. He hung in there tough, followed through, delivered it, had a lot of velocity on the ball, a good play action fake inside. Look at stepping through and followed through very well and had the ball right on the money where you had to throw it, right at the numbers. That time to Henry Ellard, number 80. Here again, look at Eller's got a lot of room. Number 80 coming off the ball. A good cushion on Washington. Breaks to the inside, and the ball is there. He doesn't close the separation quickly enough, talking about Washington, and for that reason he was able to make the play. The ball was thrown perfectly right at the numbers.
And, of course, they marked off the penalty of roughing the passer, so the ball is inside the 15. That, by the way, was Jeff Kemp's first completion of the ball game. And the former Dartmouth star goes back.
Foul, number 23, defense, roughing the passer, first down.
In case you didn't hear it the first time, right?
And the fans didn't want to hear it the second time, the way they respond.
That's true. Here's Bubba Baker on the sidelines. Good pass rusher for the Cardinals, sitting this one out. First and 10 at the 13. Cardinals lead 10-3. Kemp falls down and covers up.
That was that counterplay again with a right guard and a right tackle pulling, but there was a mix-up between the center and the quarterback. He did not get a good exchange, and very wisely fell in the football so they didn't cough it up and give it to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Loss of 2 on the play. Second down and 12, back at the 15. John Robinson, in his second year, brought the Rams into the playoffs last year and a win over Dallas.
On that kind of a play, the quarterback really has to have enough separation between him and the center to let those people pull in front. That time he's a little too close.
Eller to the top, Guman in motion. The pitch, and this is a reverse. Henry Eller gives a lot of ground, and Curtis Greer brings him down back at the 30-yard line. A loss of 14, and Greer appears to be shaken up momentarily. Can you tell early if a reverse is going to fizzle?
Well, you can tell by the backside. You see, he made a good move. He saw it coming and came up the field. You have to have chasers. Anytime the defensive end or the linebacker comes up the field, you're out of business on the reverse. And Curtis Greer, number 75, started to go down the line of scrimmage, saw it coming, came right up the field, and made the play. A great play by Curtis Greer. And I think he was the traffic cop on the play. He was right there to give him a ticket for speeding.
And they paid.
Yeah.
Third and 26, way back at the 29-yard line. Cardinal defense stiffening. Kemp directing traffic and sack. That was Randy Holloway, and that's the 4th sack of the game by the Cardinals.
Johnny Robinson didn't look very happy about that play, and I think one thing that you have to be aware of, I think Kemp is so concerned about not making mistakes that sometimes he holds the ball just a little bit too long. And in that particular case, why I think that's what happened, he's not going to take a chance of throwing the ball unless the guy is open.
51-yard field goal attempt by Mike Lansford. He's 0 for 4 from beyond 37 yards this year. Holding is Cromwell. And the kick is no good. Off to the right. 51-yard field goal attempt fizzles. The Rams had a 1st and 10 at the 13, were pushed back and missed on a field goal attempt. And with 9:35 to go in the second quarter, it is still 10-3 St. Louis.
Now watch Lansford now. He's kicking barefooted, and sometimes I think barefooted kickers on synthetic turf have a fear of stubbing their big toe and getting turf toe. Whether that's the reason, I don't know, but he doesn't kick nearly as well on synthetic turf as he does on natural grass.
9 for 15 on the year for Mike Lansford. 1st and 10 at the 34.
I think anytime that you have a situation where you really go backwards like the Rams did on the last play, this is a good time for another big play attempt on the part of the St. Louis Cardinals.
They have 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers in there. Tilley goes outside, but the hand is to Otis Anderson, who picks up 4 yards on the play. Carl Eckern and Jim Collins make the tackle. The Rams have been relying on a pretty good defense against the rush this year. They're number 1 in the NFL with fewest yards per rushing attempt. And if they're not stopping the passing game that well with the rush, at least they're doing it against the run.
Yeah, overall, they're 7th in the conference against on defense, 3 against the run totally, and 13 against the forward pass.
Winding down to 9 minutes to go in the first half. 10-3 St. Louis. 2nd down and 6. Lomax up the middle to Marsh, the tight end. Let's see where they spot the ball. He's close to a first down. Jimmy Collins makes the tackle. He's just about as a Pro Bowl status right now. Number 50 Collins, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's playing extremely well. Now, there you see him getting back into his zone, getting his drop. Gets to his spot, he sees the ball's thrown, and he comes right up and makes the tackle right in front of his position. A good play, really, on the part of Jim Collins, number 50.
Finally healthy and having a terrific year. Doesn't miss many tackles. 1st and 10 Cardinals. They got the first down. The ball at the 44. Cedric Mack comes in as the 3rd wide receiver.
Now, he's another big play guy. He's got great speed, and they like to throw the ball to him deep whenever they can.
Roy Green is in motion, trying to find some room. He does there. Gets into Ram territory to the 47-yard line. Johnny Johnson makes the tackle. Shy of a first down by a yard, but he'll take 9 anytime.
Well, that was a delay pattern on the part of Green, you see. Now he's got great speed. They're worried about deep coverage, and he gets down the field and breaks over the middle and the inside. Here you see him coming in motion from another direction. See him? Now he goes back where he came from, back across the middle. There's a big hole there. He makes the catch, and he's a very, very dangerous runner. Once he makes the catch, Johnny Johnson is there in front of him to make the tackle, but that's what happened on the play, a delay pattern to Roy Green.
2nd down and 1. Earl Farrell is the up back, and Otis Anderson follows his lead, and Anderson's not going to go anywhere. Leroy Urban and George Andrews ride him out of bounds. So it'll be 3rd down and a couple.
One of the few times you see Anderson not take advantage of the block. Farrell will try to block the defensive person to the outside, but instead Anderson ran to the outside, and for that reason he had no chance whatsoever to make the play.
A loss of about 4.5 yards. It'll be 3rd down and a long 5.
St. Louis 3rd and 5 at their own 49.
He's averaged 2 yards a carry, Otis Anderson has so far. Silly comes to the top of your picture. And Cedric Mack to the bottom in the spread formation.
5 defensive backs in there for the Rams.
Will be Vince Newsom as the nickel back. Lomax steps up in the pocket and hits Stump Mitchell close to a first down. Johnny Johnson made the hit immediately, but it appears from here as if the Cardinals have a first down. But a penalty flag has been thrown, so let's wait.
12 men on defense, 12 men on the field defense.
I don't think you can do that.
Well, you can do it, but you can't get caught. See, that's what happens. They got caught that time. I think they were confused with the Canadian rules, and they had 12 people in the field that time instead of just
12
11.
men on the field defense. Penalty will be declined. First down.
It is a first down. Why does that happen, Hank?
You know, you're just not alert enough on the sideline, and a player who was supposed to be in the game or come out of the game doesn't see the substitution situation, and as a result, you wind up sometimes with 10 and sometimes with 12. But if you're going to be wrong, you're better off with 12 than 10.
I guess so. 1st and 10 Cardinals at the Ram 45 with 7:06 to go in the first half. St. Louis leading 10-3.
Look at the left side now.
Cedric Mack is there. They throw though to Green. Incomplete. Collins and Gary Green covering on the play.
Cedric Mack was over on the left side, and he's got such great speed. I thought perhaps they would throw the ball over to him. He had one-on-one coverage on Urban, but he didn't even look over in that direction at all and threw the ball to Green.
Hannafin was talking about Neil Lomax. He said they always knew he had the arm and tremendous field vision, but they had to get a good coach for him, and that's why they went for Dowhauer.
Yeah, he thought that the acquisition of Dowhauer has really been one of the fine moves he's made. He's got a great coaching staff, but he really feels that Dowhauer has really helped Neil Lomax tremendously.
2nd down, 10. Anderson tripped up at the 42-yard line by Carl Eckern. Rod Dowhauer, of course, had been an assistant coach at Denver, but had been at San Diego State and Stanford before that, and had developed some pretty good quarterbacks.
Well, I think Lomax said it pretty well. He said that, you know, when I first met Rod, he came in 1983 in February to meet him, and he was out of practice for 2 days, just kind of a mini camp, 2 days, and after 2 days, he felt he learned more in 2 days than they did from anybody else he's been associated with, which is really a strong endorsement.
3rd and 7. Youngblood putting pressure on. Lomax steps up. Incomplete to Willard Harrell. Jim Collins hit him as soon as the ball came to him. It'll be 4th down and a punting situation.
Watch Stump Mitchell, number 30. He's supposed to pick up the linebacker coming on the play, number 58, who is blitzing Mel Owens, but he misses the block, and Owens gets penetration, gets in the face of Neil Lomax, and as a result, the ball isn't thrown quite as well as he wanted to throw.
Carl Birdsong punting, and Henry Ellard is back. Ellard, the leading punt returner in the National Football League. He has returned 2 for touchdown. Kicking over to Ellard's side, but going for the coffin corner, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. A 42-yard punt. Neil Lomax talking things over, but the Rams will take over on offense when we return. Look at this game so far. St. Louis has 10 points. L.A. very much in this thing.
Oh, no question about that. You know, it's a long way from being over, and of course, any time that you have a great running back like Dickerson who can change the scoreboard from any place in the field, anything can happen, but I think it's typical so far because the personality, the St. Louis Cardinals have been a big play personality, and they are ahead in this game because of the big play. 53-yard touchdown pass to Roy Green. They're flying.
At the 20, Jeff Kemp. Let's see how he operates the Rams here, trailing by a touchdown. 6:08 showing on the clock. Eric Dickerson, a good way to start. Hits a stone wall at the 25-yard line. A gain of 5 on the play. Kurt Ollerman and E.J. Jr. both make the stop.
You know, unusual that they would run to the right that time, Dick, because the undershift was to the offensive right. Look at all the people over there. You got 1, 2, 3 and a linebacker, and they were 1 short on the opposite side. But in spite of that, they still try to go straight ahead. Hera, number 60, does a good job of blocking Elois Grooms, number 78, and there's a little seam there, but not nearly as much as there would have been on the other side.
The man at the top of your picture is Ron Brown. So they want to get the ball to as much as they can, more and more. A rookie. 2nd down and 5 at the 25. The pitch goes to Dickerson, head down, nowhere to go. Back to the line of scrimmage, and this time it was Lee Nelson, who has been playing more than capably for the injured Leonard Smith the last 3 weeks, and he stopped Dickerson cold.
Nelson is like a linebacker playing safety. He does not cover very well, but he's a terrific tackler and gets good penetration. Watch. Look at Pankey pulling, number 75 on the play. They did not block the linebacker on the outside, number 59, Howard, and for that reason, the play is stuffed. And Lee Nelson comes in there also to help make the play.
3rd down and 4. This time Brown is to the left. George Farmer wide to the right. In motion Barber. Kemp dumps it off, and he had no chance because E.J. Jr. was blitzing, and Kemp had no time to get anything started.
That's the feast or famine kind of a play. You don't block the linebacker thinking that you get the ball to the back before the linebacker gets to the quarterback. It didn't work that way, and for that reason, the play was not successful.
So Misko is in the punt for the Rams with 4:40 to go in the half.
On that kind of a play, Dick, you call the receiver hot, and that means he doesn't have to block anybody. Just get out on the flat, look for the ball. Didn't have enough time to throw the ball that time.
At the 36 is smothered at the 38 by Ed Brady. 4:31 to go in the first half, and we'll be back to Busch Stadium.
The Cardinals have had the ball 9 times on 1st and 10, Dick. They've passed the ball 6 and have run it 3.
2-to-1 ratio. Let's see what Neil Lomax does 1st and 10 on his own 38-yard line. The Cardinals have had good field position throughout this first half. They have 10 points on the board. They swing it out to Anderson, who drops the ball. He was open. How much he would have gotten is problematical. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And George Andrews, a right linebacker, 52, was blitzing on the play, but he got rid of the ball. He felt him coming and got rid of the ball to the short man, but he dropped it. Talking about Otis Anderson, number 32.
Donahue traded field goals before this man. Neil Lomax hit Roy Green with a 53-yard touchdown here in the second quarter. That's been the difference in the 10-3 game. Lomax completes to Farrell, gets by Leroy Irvin, and gets a first down. Irvin missed the tackle, and he got burned as a result. Near midfield, the Cardinals, with Earl Farrell, have a first down.
Here we see it from the quarterback's view. He's looking to his right, looks off the receiver, and throws right back out to the flat to Earl Farrell. Look at this. Irwin tries to tackle his arm that time and misses, and it's for that reason he's able to get up the field and make enough yardage for the first down. 1st and 10, St. Louis.
Farrell took the place of Wayne Morris as the blocking back, and he used to be a tailback in college, and as you mentioned many times, all running backs want to carry the ball, but he said that he had to learn to say, I want to block. I want to become a good blocker.
And he's done that very, very well, and he knows that going into the game, anytime that he's in the game, 90% of the time, the tailback's going to carry the ball. The other 10% of the time, he's either going to be blocking or maybe get a chance to run the ball, but not very often.
Farrell said the fans don't see the good block, but the coaches do.
Yeah, you can't hide from the film, from the camera.
1st and 10. Cardinals just shy of midfield with 3:35 showing on the clock here in the second quarter. Lomax to throw, and he's got Roy Green in a seam, first down at the 33-yard line. Owens makes the stop.
There again, see, now Green that time was in the slot on the right side. The last time he made a big play, he was on the left side. And what he did here, he read the defense that time. He was down like he was going to go deep. Nolan Cromwell was running deep. He stopped. He stopped right in the hole and finally made the catch. But a beautiful play on the part of Roy Green. It's an option pattern. Here we see him again. Watch him coming off the ball. See, now look at the big hole there. Instead of going deep, he stops. Right between the hash mark and the numbers. The ball is thrown right on the money. And he's finally tackled there by Mel Owens, number 58.
On the pitch is tripped up. May have lost a yard on the play. Jim Collins making the tackle once again. Roy Green, by the way, Hank, has caught 4 passes already in this first half for 97 yards.
Yeah, he's a big play guy, and of course the other thing, he's got such great ability to run once he makes the catch. The other thing, that last pattern, you talk about an option, Dick. Option means that he's got a choice of doing one of 3 things. Going deep, going to his inside, or hooking in the area. He chose to hook in the area that time, and that's why it was so successful.
And he's over 1,000 for the season now. So Roy Green has gone over 1,000 yards for the year. 2nd and 11 at the 34. Farrell in motion. Lomax dumps it off to Anderson. And Anderson is hit at the 26-yard line by Nolan Cromwell. And once may have lost a yard on the play. Jim Collins making the tackle once again. Roy Green, by the way, Hank, has caught 4 passes already in this first half for 97 yards.
Yeah, he's a big play guy, and of course the other thing, he's got such great ability to run once he makes the catch. The other thing, that last pattern, you talk about an option, Dick. Option means that he's got a choice of doing one of 3 things. Going deep, going to his inside, or hooking in the area. He chose to hook in the area that time, and that's why it was so successful.
And he's over 1,000 for the season now. So Roy Green has gone over 1,000 yards for the year. 2nd and 11 at the 34. Farrell in motion. Lomax dumps it off to Anderson. And Anderson is hit at the 26-yard line by Nolan Cromwell. And once again, Jimmy Collins. It'll be 3rd down and short. 3rd and about 4 for St. Louis. And we are now in the midst of our 2-minute warning with 1:57 showing on the clock. The Cardinals lead the Rams 10-3 and are trying to get in position for more points. We'll be back. At our 2-minute warning, it'll be 3rd and 3 for the Cardinals on the Ram 26. Henry?
Well, they had 2 downs to make 3 yards. Now, whether they elect to try to run it twice or whether they try to throw something here, they don't throw very many play-action passes, which is unusual for a team that runs the ball and likes to run the ball as much as they do. They're in a spread formation.
Lomax 12 for 17, and he's had 3 passes dropped as well. He's got time, and he Cedric Mack couldn't couldn't hold on. He dropped a touchdown pass against Philadelphia last week. David Crota, a free agent rookie from San Diego State, was covering on the play, and Mack was there, and the ball was there.
Yeah, it hit him right where it should have hit him, but it just went right on through like it was a two-point play in basketball, and he just missed it.
So now O'Donohue, who has already kicked a 49-yard field goal, is in again with Perrin holding. This will be a 43-yard attempt. Keep in mind, as Hank mentioned, O'Donohue has been far more successful with the longer kicks than for the shorter kicks this year.
Yeah, and the reason for that, he chips the ball when he's in close, and he attacks the ball when it's out farther, because he knows he has to put a lot on it to make it go through the uprights.
This kick is good. He's had some shaky moments last year in this, but O'Donohue always comes back in impressive fashion. 13-3 to score. St. Louis Cardinals, who have won 4 in a row and are looking to take over undisputed possession of first place in the NFC East, now lead the Rams 13-3 with 1:47 remaining in the half.
They're a very hot football team. Their quarterback is as hot as anybody in the league. Talking about Lomax, but they have a lot of way to come after you, Dick, and they take good advantage of what they see and what they're given on defense.
Barry Redden, Drew Hill are back. There's Redden. O'Donohue kicks this over to Drew Hill inside the 5-yard line, and Hill is hit. Randy Love, I believe, at the 15-yard line. He has been around a long time. 10-year veteran, makes his living as a special teams performer. Here was the big score. The Giants beat Dallas 19-7 to sweep the Cowboys this year. And so the Cardinals can move into first place by themselves. Miami and the Jets tied 7-7 in the second quarter.
And the Jets are playing a lot better than people think they were going to play. New England 6 and Denver 6. A very close game. Look at that. Oh, Seattle 24, Kansas City zip in the second quarter.
Cincinnati over San Francisco, and a big surprise in the second quarter of their game at Candlestick Park. First and 10 for the Rams at the 17 with 1:43 to go. Eric Dickerson up the middle, got tripped, but brings it out to the 30-yard line and a first down. Perrin and Washington make the tackle.
Watch E.J. Jr., number 54. He goes way to the inside, and then he gets blocked. And then Dickerson goes to the outside and makes a big gain on the play.
Kemp incomplete, going for Mike Goulman, who is well covered by a pair of linebackers. Kemp is not getting a lot of time to get the passes off, and Lomax, on the other hand, is getting all afternoon.
I think the other thing we have to see are the Rams in the second half. Dick, so far in the first half, they've had the ball 10 times on 1st and 10. They have run the ball 7 times. They've only thrown it 3 times. I think in the second half, they have to come out of the chute this in the second half and throw the ball a lot more on 1st and 10.
When you're behind, you just can't play that ball control game.
No, and I think that's a good time to throw the ball, especially when they're playing so much man-for-man coverage.
Kemp needs to get into a rhythm. He's 1 for 6 right now. Hasn't had a chance to do that. 2nd and 10 right here, but they give it to Dickerson, trying to turn the corner. And Lee Nelson forcing the play once again, stops Eric Dickerson at the 32-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8. He had a sack and forced the fumble last week.
That is their first.
The Cardinals have called a timeout, and the reason why is that they would like to get their hands on the ball again with enough time remaining.
That's a really a good call on the part of St. Louis. I thought maybe they would do it a little quicker.
Remember at the beginning of the ball game, I said how the Rams going to get enough points to outscore the Cardinals, and you talked about Dickerson. You've used him a lot, but we haven't seen much of those speedsters they have on wide receivers.
No, I think they have to do more of that, and they have tried to make some big plays with those outside people in the second half if they hope to get back in the game. Look at Baker, boy. He's a number 1 cheerleader, and he ought to put a skirt on him.
He's not playing, but he's like a 12th man out there. 3rd down and 8 at the 32. Kemp being chased by Galloway. And going deep for Drew Hill, and it's way overthrown. Drew Hill was double covered by Smith and Nelson. And the cheerleader is all excited. Bubba Baker, it'll be 4th down.
He threw that ball about 60 yards in the air. You don't think he's got a strong arm, talking about Jeff Kemp.
And we might be seeing more of it, as you mentioned, in the second half.
I think they have to do that because they got great outside speed, and they have to try to take advantage of it to get back in this game in the second half.
John Misko will punt for the 4th time, and Stump Mitchell will be trying to break something and give the Cardinals some good field position. They've enjoyed that throughout this first half, that's for sure. 13-3 St. Louis with 58 seconds to go. Cardinals have 2 timeouts remaining. Penalty flag down. Mitchell. Another flag down as Mitchell is brought down by McDonald at the 45-yard line. One flag down early and the other one down after Mitchell, or just about when Mitchell was tackled.
Talking about Stump Mitchell, he's a delightful little guy. And we talked to him yesterday, and I spoke at their banquet when he was a senior and graduated from
Illegal block in the back, number 50 on the return, and post-possession holding also on the receiving team.
Double jeopardy, both against St. Louis.
Post-possession foul is on number 46.
Bob Harris, the first penalty, and the second penalty is against Victor Heflin. We were talking about Stump Mitchell.
Yeah, and Stump really gave a great talk at the banquet. Has a lot of feeling and expressed himself as well as any young guy I've ever heard, and made a great impression on me and everybody who attended that banquet.
Post-possession, foul is accepted. The illegal block above the waist, number 50, on the return is declined.
The Cardinals, although they have that 10-point lead, aren't that cushy now, confident that they have a big lead at this point.
No, I think they'll be in trouble if they feel that way at halftime, because really and truly the Rams are just a play and a half out of getting right back in the game. I'm talking about a play, a touchdown, and a field goal. 2 plays are right back in the game and ahead in the game, so they can't feel overconfident about what's happened in the first half.
As we look at the halftime statistics, one number jumps out of you, and that is -9 yards passing by the Rams.
That's really been the difference in the game so far. I think the St. Louis Cardinals have the capacity to get big plays, and they did that, and the Rams have only been able to do it with a run. They must do a better job in the second half of throwing the football, and they have to do a lot more passing, I think, on 1st and 10 situations to take some of the pressure off of Dickerson.
So they got to open it up, and Kemp is just going to have to go deep to some of those great receivers they have.
And the important thing, naturally, is going to be that he has to have pass protection. If he doesn't have pass protection, you can try to throw all the passes you want. You're never going to get him up in the air. So that's going to be a key. He has to have time to throw the football.
All right, the Cardinal big play combination worked. Lomax to Roy Green, and that's one of the reasons why the Cardinals have the lead. St. Louis looking to take over undisputed possession of first place.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda, makers of the new Accord SEI 4-door sedan. RCA, creators of video technology that excites the senses. And by Team Xerox, the right products and right people, all working together.
Lomax, who has been part of this great resurgence of the St. Louis Cardinals, coming into the game with 17 touchdowns, now has 18 on the year, leading the NFC coming into this weekend's play. But the spotlight is on Jeff Kemp, who struggled 1 for 7 for 21 yards, did not get the greatest protection in the first half, and as Hank Stram mentioned, he's going to have to go to his good receivers to get the Rams back in this game. Mike Lansford will be kicking off to the Cardinals. Danny Pittman and Stump Mitchell. There's Mitchell and Pittman near him as we start the second half. But as Hank mentioned, the Rams are a play and a half away from getting back into this ball game, and a game, by the way, which has featured no turnovers so far.
Yeah, that's really the big thing. I think people have mistaken impressions sometimes when you say it's 13-3, that it's an overwhelming margin. It really isn't.
No, it isn't even going into the fourth quarter, is it?
No, that's right.
5-yard penalty as Lansford kicks the ball out of bounds. So he'll go back. and kick it from the 30. Jim Hannafin, who's been in St. Louis and has seen the team grow each year slowly, and John Robinson, who was looking for a wild card berth for his Rams.
And both coaches are really delightful guys to talk to, aren't they? They're very open. They tell you what you want to know, and they don't have any reservations. They know that that's not going to determine whether they win or lose a game, is how the kids play the game. And so they do a great job of communicating with people before the game, and that's always a lot of fun.
And they're both pragmatists. They both won't give you, well, every one game at a time, and next game's the most important game. They don't mind looking ahead for you. Kickoff going to Stump Mitchell at the 9-yard line. Mitchell brings it out to the 34-yard line. Norwood Van makes the tackle. I want to remind you that next Saturday on CBS, at the 35-yard line, Earl Farrell gets to the 40, gain of 5 yards on the play. Tackled by Carl Eckern.
2 backs this time, and of course they give the ball to Farrell on a delay play, a draw really, and he sees some running room, takes advantage of it. Finally tackled there by Carl Eckern and a couple of other linebackers inside, along with Johnny Johnson, the strong safety, number 20.
Second down and 5. Keep in mind, as that graphic indicates, the Cardinals have been a good second-half team, in particular a terrific fourth-quarter team this season. Otis Anderson head down. Can't break the tackle of Reggie Doss. And it'll be 3rd down. Anderson averaging just 2 yards a carry in the first half. 9th in the NFC in rushing coming into this ball game. He's had over 1,000 years every year in his career, except for that strike short in 1982 season.
Well, they got 5 defensive backs in the game now. And 4 linemen, 2 linebackers.
At the 42-yard line. Youngblood trying to put on a rush. Lomax up the middle. Incomplete pass intended for Willard Harrell. Covering on the play was Mel Owens. Crowd was looking for a flag. None coming, and it'll be 4th down punting situation.
He was looking for Cedric Mack again, number 47, who was going deep, but they double covered, meaning they had 2 defensive backs on 1 receiver, and as a result, he wisely tried to dump the ball off, and of course, it was covered well and falls incomplete. Good coverage on the part of the Los Angeles Rams.
Birdsong kicking to Ellard, and Leroy Irvin is right with him, so there are 2 men back for the Rams, and both capable of breaking long gainers. And they try a fake, and it fizzles, and Stump Mitchell. Now Birdsong to Harris. Flag down, and that's not going to count. Ineligible receiver. Bob Harris, and they're laughing about it on the St. Louis sideline, but an eligible receiver will be the call, and this will be a big break for the Rams, Hank.
Boy, you talk about Keystone Cops. That's what it looked like, didn't it? People running all over the place.
We saw the opening game of the year on punt formation. Stump Mitchell gained a lot of yards against Green Bay that way.
He did. He certainly did.
Against St. Louis, and now the Rams are going to have their best field position of the ball game coming up.
And the important thing is they take advantage of the field position. Field position is only important if you generate some kind of an attack and get some points on the board.
Bob McElwee, the referee, talking it over.
Ineligible downfield, number 50 of the offense, 4th down.
So it is still 4th down.
Fumble the ball. Watch Stump. He said, I don't want it. He throws it back. There's another. There's the ineligible receiver, Bob Harris, number 15.
So the Rams don't end up as good as they could have unless they really break it, because that pass was completed, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Now the Rams are asking about the call and upset, and now
was caught by number 50.
It had to be.
by the ineligible receiver.
Yeah, so it shouldn't
10
count.
yards or loss of down. Loss of down will give the ball to the defense.
Sure.
And
You can't get away with that.
No, sir. That's right.
I was surprised, but, you know, you always know the officials are going to have the right call, and if you haven't seen something lately, and there are always new things coming up, maybe you're not totally sure, and we weren't totally sure, but if you throw to the wrong man, even if you complete it, it's a loss of down. So now Jeff Kemp and the Rams have it 1st and 10 at the Cardinals' 42-yard line. And Hank, as you mentioned, both at the end of the first half and during our halftime, be very interesting to see whether Jeff Kemp goes to the air on 1st down or continues to keep it on the ground to Eric Dickerson.
1st and 10 Rams. St. Louis.
That's what they've gotten on 1st down. They're not going to win many that way.
No, they're not. And, of course, the other thing is they threw 3 times on 1st and 10 and didn't complete a pass on 1st and 10.
David Hill lines up on the right side. They go to Dickerson on the pitch. Dickerson turning the corner. Penalty markers down. Eric Dickerson has a 1st down inside the 30-yard line. Benny Perrin makes the play. A good block by the right tackle, Bill Bain, but let's wait. Holding against Los Angeles.
Yeah, anytime you see the flag thrown in that area, it usually is holding.
So the Rams trying to get back in here.
number 81, offense.
It was David Hill who lined up on the right side of the line next to Bill Bain. There's Hill. Now they spot the ball back in Ram territory at the 49-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 20. So the Rams don't end up as good as they could have unless they really break it, because that pass was completed, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Now the Rams are asking about the call and upset, and now
Was caught by number 50.
It had to be.
by the ineligible receiver.
Yeah, so it shouldn't
10
count.
yards or loss of down. Loss of down will give the ball to the defense.
Sure.
1st and 10.
You can't get away with that.
No, sir. That's right.
I was surprised, but, you know, you always know the officials are going to have the right call, and if you haven't seen something lately, and there are always new things coming up, maybe you're not totally sure, and we weren't totally sure, but if you throw to the wrong man, even if you complete it, it's a loss of down. So now Jeff Kemp and the Rams have it 1st and 10 at the Cardinals' 42-yard line. And Hank, as you mentioned, both at the end of the first half and during our halftime, be very interesting to see whether Jeff Kemp goes to the air on 1st down or continues to keep it on the ground to Eric Dickerson.
1st and 10 Rams. St. Louis.
That's what they've gotten on 1st down. They're not going to win many that way.
No, they're not. And, of course, the other thing is they threw 3 times on 1st and 10 and didn't complete a pass on 1st and 10.
David Hill lines up on the right side. They go to Dickerson on the pitch. Dickerson turning the corner. Penalty markers down. Eric Dickerson has a 1st down inside the 30-yard line. Benny Perrin makes the play. A good block by the right tackle, Bill Bain, but let's wait. Holding against Los Angeles.
Yeah, anytime you see the flag thrown in that area, it usually is holding.
So the Rams trying to get back in here.
Number 81, offense.
It was David Hill who lined up on the right side of the line next to Bill Bain. There's Hill. Now they spot the ball back in Ram territory at the 49-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 20.
1st and 20 Rams.
You think Kemp will be pitching to Dickerson here?
They like to run the ball in this situation, and they allow to do it again here.
Keep in mind they had a 3rd and 34. And early in the game, they pitched to Dickerson at the 33 yards. 1st down and 20.
Here they come.
Dickerson loses a yard. E.J. Jr. penetrated nicely on the play.
linebackers in the ball game.
Now it's second down.
Junior.
See, there's that counter play again with the guard pulling, but they didn't get penetration at all that time because Hera, number 60, got shoved back into the backfield, and as a result, the mesh between the back and the guard was very poor, and he loses yardage on the play.
Bob Harris is now playing middle linebacker, number 50 for Kurt Ollerman. Second down and 20. Kemp looking for receivers and going deep for Ron Brown, who's there, makes the catch and a touchdown, L.A. And Hank, you said a play and a half, and it took one big play to bring the Rams back in this game. 52 yards, Kemp to Ron Brown, and for Ron Brown, his 4th touchdown reception of the year.
And those kind of passes are really amazing because the ball was thrown just a little bit short. The defensive back ran beyond the receiver, in this case Brown. He came back to make the catch and tiptoed into the end zone for the touchdown, and they're right back in business with a big 6-point play.
He has 12 catches on the year, 4 of them for touchdowns, and John Robinson told us people are telling him that Ellard and Ron Brown will be a big wide receiving combination for the years to come in the NFL. Lansford with Cromwell holding. And the conversion is good, and now it is a 13-10 ball game. The big play was the mess up by the Cardinals on punt formation. Led to this.
There you see Kemp going back. Look at the stunts up front with the lineman trying to get into the gaps. Kemp jumps out of the pocket, has enough composure to see downfield, sees Brown, but watch, the ball is thrown a little bit behind. The defensive back stops. Brown comes back for the ball, makes the catch, and goes right into the end zone for the touchdown. Benny Perrin was covering on the play, number 23.
So the Rams are very much back in it with a big play of their own. It's the Cardinals 13, the Rams 10. It is November 6th, Election Day, so please remember to vote. 12 minutes, 17 seconds to go, third quarter. A 52-yard touchdown strike. Jeff Kemp to Ron Brown brings the Rams back, trailing 13-10. Lansford kicking off. His front missile inside the 5. Ivory Sully chases him and helps bring him down inside the 20-yard line, and now they say it's at the 20-yard line. Help from A.J. Jones. Doubleheader week next Sunday on CBS. It all begins with the NFL Today at 12:30. The Lions, who tied the Eagles today against the Redskins, who are very much in the thick of it in the NFC East. San Francisco against Cleveland. For most of you in the early game, the second game will feature the big one, the Dallas Cowboys against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals will try to sweep the Cowboys on the year, just as the Giants did today. Chicago against the Rams, 3 o'clock Central for the Dallas-St. Louis game. That's a big one.
It really is, and here we go. We got a big one right here.
First and 10 at the 20 for Neil Lomax, 13-10. And once again, Otis Anderson drops the pass. That's the second time he's dropped the pass just like that.
I think what happens in that kind of a play, he wants to make the catch and get up the field as soon as he can, and sometimes they take their eye off the ball just long enough to drop it. That's what happened on the play.
Second down and 10. That's what Lomax has done today, and keep in mind there have been a few drops thrown in.
You know, and he's had 10 attempts on first and 10 and has only completed 3. It's unusual, isn't it?
He's done better than that in the previous game. Cardinals with a 4-game winning streak. Lomax. This time Earl Farrell, who makes the play. Brought down at the 26-yard line, 4 yards shy of a first down, and Gary Green makes the tackle for the Rams.
Watch Jack Youngblood in the middle of the picture, number 85, rushing. Watch the offensive tackle, number 63, Tootie Robbins, doing a good job of pass protection and holding in the process, but he wasn't caught, so that doesn't make any difference.
No, you pointed out that to me. Charles Desjardins is the nose tackle replacing Greg Meister. Desjardins plays about 40% of the time. Third down and 4 for Lomax. Looks to go on top. In trouble, and Lomax is going to run, and he's down. Back at the 20-yard line. That is the third sack of the ball game by the Rams, and Jack Youngblood rides up right in the middle of it.
Watch Jack Youngblood again, number 85. They got a linebacker blitzing, Mel Owens, coming inside. Reggie Doss is trying to get penetration from the right side, and finally gets his arm on him, gets a piece of him, and then comes number 69, Meisner, and 85, Jack Youngblood finally makes the play.
Second sack of the game, Hank. He's got 8 on the year to lead the Rams. So Birdsong will punt from the 5-yard line. And Henry Ellard.
And you talk about a lightning guy bringing back kicks. He's dangerous.
Ellard's going to have a chance right here. It is a low kick, and Ellard at the 39-yard line looking for room, but doesn't get it. John Good, a 5th-round draft choice, and the third-string tight end prevented Henry Ellard from getting underway, and we'll be back. Well, Jeff Kemp, who of course has been playing in place of the injured Vince Ferragamo, showed that arm you were talking about on that touchdown play. Let's see what happens here. Team down by 3.
Well, he really has a great gun. You know the other great thing about him, he's a great competitor. He really is. He's very bright, very intelligent. He's not going to get his team in jeopardy by doing a dumb thing. And there was a great illustration of how he escaped the traffic and got the ball downfield.
10:50 to go, third quarter. Kemp with a short drop and a sideline pattern to George Farmer. Lee Nelson has him in the grass. They make that Mike Gooman. Excuse me, it was Gooman and not Farmer. The U-back. Gain of about 5 yards on the play. He's really sometimes overlooked. Just dependable guy, rarely makes mistakes. Good blocker, good role player for John Robinson.
Yeah, steady Eddie kind of a guy, and they like him very, very much. Plus the fact that he throws the ball pretty well too, Dick.
Second down and 5 at the 41.
But they only let him do that in the pregame warm-up.
You never know what you'll see though during the game. Here's Dickerson. The tanky blocking, and Dickerson is hit hard at the 44-yard line. Misses a first down by 1.5 yards. Benny Perrin, who looks like he's aroused out there, making the stop.
The quiet assassin. Boy, he's a tough little guy, number 23. He's looking to the bench for our signal from Floyd Peters.
He's the extension of Peters, the assistant head coach to Hannafin. There's Floyd.
And Floyd has really done a remarkable job with his defensive team. He's given him a lot of pride. He's been around the league for a long time with the Giants. And also now with the St. Louis Cardinals, along with the Detroit Lions. He's a good one.
3rd and 2. Dickerson and Crutchfield are in the backfield. Crutchfield's a good inside runner, number 45. And it goes to Crutchfield, who stopped short. The Cardinals hold, and it's going to be 4th down as Crutchfield is a yard short.
You know, sometimes you fool yourself. You say to yourself, well, they're going to be looking for Dickerson, so we'll give the ball to somebody else. And usually the somebody else doesn't get it done.
Well, Benny Perrin, and you saw Bubba Baker trying to lead the Cardinal defensive charge. This has turned into a defensive ball game. Right now, you can say, forget about the high-scoring offense of St. Louis. It's a 13-10 game in Misco punting.
Yeah, you can say forget about it right now, but you never know what's going to happen in the next series because they're explosive and they can bomb you from any place.
High kick, not a long kick, and a fair catch called for by Stump Mitchell in a lot of traffic. Risky business, but he makes the play at the 26-yard line following the 30-yard punt. At Busch Stadium, they have already sold out next week's game with the Cowboys. They're sky high about the Cardinals' efforts this year, and if the Cardinals win, they will take over first place in the NFC East. If they do not beat the Rams today, they will be in at least a 3 and maybe a 4-way tie for first place in the division, the tightest division in the league. 1st and 10 at the 26. Anderson. Collins is there.
You know, the psychology of knowing what the opposition has done, in this particular case, talking about Dallas, when you know they've already lost the game, that you got a chance to be in first place, sometimes the motivation isn't quite as keen as you think it would be, because what happens is they think, well, regardless what happens, if we win, it's great, but even if we don't win, we're still in good shape, you see? So sometimes that's the approach, and it's bad.
Very good point, Hank. 2nd down and 11. Lomax with a lot of time. Patchilli. And a first down. That's the 45 of Los Angeles. A 31-yard strike. And you've been looking for number 83 all afternoon.
Yeah, I wondered why he didn't catch a ball in the first half. But he's too good a receiver, especially a move guy. On a crossing pattern, he comes to the inside. The key, look at all the time he has to throw the football. That's the key. There was no pass rush whatsoever. No rush whatsoever. Watch again the time he has to throw the ball. Look at the pass protection up front. Look at Lomax. He goes back in the pocket. Look at the double team Youngblood. He got all the time looking all over the place. Finally steps up into the pocket, delivers the ball to Tilly. But the key, really, no pass rush whatsoever on the part of the Rams.
It puts a lot of pressure on that secondary, and that's a good secondary.
Oh, there's no way in the world you can cover people that long if you don't put any rush on the quarterback.
Here's Anderson on first down. Penalty markers fly as Jimmy Collins helps brings him down at the 40-yard line. A gain of about 5. Eckern also there. And a holding call will be against St. Louis. Collins, by the way, has already been involved in 12 tackles today. Eckern made 10 against the 49ers. So you could safely say that Eckern and Collins are about as good as you can find in stuff in the run.
Number 67, offense.
Luis Sharp.
Still first
The
down.
left tackle. It'll be 1st and 20 instead of 2nd and 5.
And you're talking about two good young tackles. Sharp and Robbins are really two excellent young tackles for the St. Louis Cardinals.
20 from the 45.
6:53 remaining in the third quarter. The Cardinals lead the Rams 13-10.
You know, the deceptive thing about the Rams defense, Youngblood is not very large, Meisler's not very large, or either is Reggie Doss, but they really do a good job of playing the run. The linebackers do a super job of filling those gaps.
And here's Anderson. He gets stripped, but he gets in the Ram territory and takes the ball back to the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Eckern, Collins, and Cromwell make the tackle on Anderson.
You know, Anderson's a very good finisher. He's big and he's strong, and every time he gets hit, you see he's always leaning forward and knocks the pile back a little bit. But that's the kind of a runner you like. He's a good finisher. He made 33 yards today, hard yards, but he's a good running back.
It is 2nd, not 3rd, but 2nd down and 9 at the 44. Lomax being chased by Youngblood and going deep. Incomplete, going for Roy Green, but Johnny Johnson and Leroy Irvin were both covering Roy Green, who caught a touchdown pass earlier today.
Johnny Johnson got a good jump once he saw the ball was going to be thrown long. He really got over there to help on the coverage, and I think anytime the ball's up in the air, why the safety man ought to be able to cover at least 20 yards, and that's exactly what he did. Here you see him. Here's Irvin, number 47. And then you see Johnson coming over from the inside to help make the play. The ball is thrown way beyond Roy Green and falls incomplete. But if you're going to be wrong when you throw the ball, make sure you're wrong long and never short.
Johnny Johnson, who John Robinson said is on my collision player, making his first start after being in the nickel the last two. He had been on injured reserve since the beginning of the year. 3rd down and 9 at the 44, and the Rams jump offside. Youngblood, this is a free play for the Cardinals. They take advantage of it. Stump Mitchell, shy of a first down. Owens and Green make the tackle. It looked as if Youngblood had jumped off without being drawn. And that's the call. Now they're going to measure, I believe, to see whether the Cardinals got the first down, and if they did, they'll decline the penalty naturally.
I don't think they made the first down, Dick, but we'll see in a minute.
Offside, number 85, defense, penalties decline, 4th down.
Well, I don't think it's 4th down. Or would you? Yeah, it is. 4th down.
4th down.
And 1. And they're going to go for it.
Yeah, they feel they're in a position where they're controlling the line of scrimmage, and it's a lot easier to make a yard than it would be to be 3rd and long again.
As long as they make the first down on this play.
If they make the first down, it's a great judgment call.
Actually, it's less than a yard inches. Stump Mitchell is in the ball game. Rams tightening up, and they're going to get the first down, folks. Charlie Charlie Dejournay moved, but let's see if he was drawn, and I think the indication was we have pointing all over the place. Let them decide. Each side pointing to the other.
Anytime you have a conference, there's indecision. They're going to try to clear it up here.
Good to see that the officials are friends. They got their arms around each other.
They're palsy-walsy.
We know that.
Well, they're all in the soapbox. They're talking about it.
And the side judge is keeping every young blood away.
The only thing they need is a gavel. One of them's got to have a gavel in there.
Crowd is saying, well,
make sure they know he's holding court. Look at how interested Jack Youngblood is.
You know, soon they're going to be saying, like the pitcher and the catcher, what are they talking about on the mound? What are the officials talking about?
Ball start, number 89, encroachment, number 70, defense, offsetting foul, replay the down.
John Robinson doesn't like that at all. He doesn't agree with it. It was Dejournay on one side, Greg LaFleur on the other, and they're going to replay it, 4th and inches.
Talking about LaFleur, I met his dad yesterday. He was in the locker room, and delightful guy, very proud of the way his son is playing, number 89, for the St. Louis Cardinals.
6 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Cardinals lead the Rams 13-10. They go with 2 tight ends.
They got an advantage on the outside left.
Mitchell, first down. And he went left.
I thought it'd be a little cleaner than it actually was. There was a lot of room there. They had an advantage. They had a wingback on that side. Nobody else on the outside of the wingback, and he had to make yardage.
And Mitchell handled it like he was going for the touchdown, just going over the top.
I guarantee you that's what he's thinking all the time. Touchdown. Look at the room on the outside. You see, and look at Johnny Johnson finally comes from the weak safety position to make the tackle, or else it'd have been the bye-bye Blues.
So on 4th and inches, Stump Mitchell, who has done everything you could want, 8 touchdowns coming in. He had 400 yards gained coming into the ball game. And I'll tell you, he may be the best backup running back in the National Football League. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals on the Rams 31. Lomax to Cedric Mack, and that was behind him. That was not Mack's fault. Gary Green covering. That pass was behind Cedric Mack.
See, they're very limited what they try to throw to Cedric Mack because he's not really that involved in the offensive scheme of making adjustments. If they throw him one for the goalpost, or the ball's thrown way behind him, he has no chance whatsoever to make the play. And Gary Green wants to check the fuzzy cement and throws him to the turf. And he bounces up there and comes right back into the huddle.
5:05 on the clock. 2nd and 10. We're definitely within O'Donoghue's range. He likes to kick him long. Pressure and a stop. Now they're out of the range. And that was George Andrews, who's 2nd on the team in quarterback sacks, and you see why right there.
George Andrews has good anticipation. He gets a good jump, a good release from the line of scrimmage. And watch him come here. Look at, you get a free shot. Nobody touched him. And that's always the linebacker's dream, is to be able to get a shot at the quarterback without anybody trying to block it.
Loss on the play, back to the 40-yard line. Didn't think that the Rams would have more sacks than the Cardinals, and it's certainly not indication of the pass rush on the quarterback, is it?
No, really, it's surprising, but again, they've done a good job with the linebackers. 4-man rush, 5 defensive backs.
At the 40-yard line, Lomax loses the ball, fumble, back at the 49-yard line, and let's wait and see. The Rams have recovered on the Cardinal 49, and that's the first turnover of the ball game.
Reggie Doss, number 71, comes up with the ball.
And a big fumble recovery.
Lomax is trying to hit, I think, Green on a crossing pattern. You see him coming across from right to left. There he is. But again, there was some penetration on the left side by Dejournay, and the ball is knocked loose as a fumble. And Reggie Doss, number 71, comes up with the fumble recovery.
The first turnover, a big one, and now the Rams trailing by 3. Have the ball in Cardinal territory, 4:28 to go in the third. Neil Lomax lost his contact lens when he lost the ball at midfield. That's what he's done so far in the game. But now Jeff Kemp, for the second time, the Rams have good field position, trailing 13-10. Hank.
Here again, they've got to take advantage of it. That's what it's all about. Field position is only important if you can take advantage of it.
Not much in the numbers department, but the scoreboard is where they pay off on. Here's a pitch to Dickerson with Bain blocking. Eric cutting inside. And Dickerson gets 8 yards on the play to the 42-yard line. Benny Perrin and Lee Nelson make the play.
Bill Bain, number 62, the right tackle, really has done a magnificent job of blocking Randy Holloway, number 74, who's playing for the injured Al Baker. Holloway is a very good pass rusher, is not that good against the run, and Bain has really taken advantage of that situation and doing a great job at the point of attack.
And the man next to him, Elo Grooms, has been playing in place of Mark Duda, who was shaken up, so the left side of the defense has been a different picture.
And Elois Grooms really is more of a defensive end than he is a tackle.
Second down and 3 at the 42. Here's Dickerson, first down inside the 35 to the 32-yard line.
Now watch Bill Bain again, the right tackle, 62. Watch the block he gets on Lois Grooms, number 78. Watch this. Watch him come off the ball. Look at he crushes Elo, puts him right on the turf, and he lays right on top of him. Boy, that's a load. Just to have him lay on top of you is a load.
Oh, I say get up in a hurry. Perrin and Nelson make the stop. First and 10 at the 33 for the Rams. The clock runs with 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the third quarter. Rams trail the Cardinals by 3. Kemp's pass is caught by Henry Ellard. He's knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line by Lionel Washington. There's the clock. It stops, of course, and it'll be second down and about 2.
Jeff Kemp is getting into a more relaxed throwing rhythm, and I think he's getting a lot more confidence. And in this part of the field, he doesn't have to worry that much about making a big mistake. So he's very, very cognizant of that. And he doesn't want to do anything at all to deter the progress of this football team.
We did see him throw 3 touchdown passes against the Saints, so he has the ability to do that.
The great thing about him is he's really got a great gun.
Second down and 2 at the 25. Cardinal defense has played outstanding football today. And now Kemp wants timeout. And we'll talk things over with John Robinson. So after the second lowest rushing output of his 2-year career last week, Eric Dickerson has a season's high of 172 yards. His career high is 199 last year.
It looks like they can do some shuffling to the left this time. They look like they got an advantage.
There might have been movement on the Rams, but they might have settled, and then the Cardinals went over. And apparently it's against St. Louis.
And he might have changed the inflection in his voice, which is a very smart thing to do on the part of the quarterback, which made them jump offside.
Approachment, defensive right side.
Galloway and Greer.
Normally use a non-rhythm count, and you can use the count any way you want to, and sometimes if you
Approachment, number 75, defense, first down.
Greer. Forget about Galloway.
And what happens is a lot of the times that they get into a rhythm, and if you're aware enough, you know, when we were at Kansas City and New Orleans, we always made sure that we kept track of when we snapped the ball to make sure that we didn't get in a rut and always go on 2 or 3 so we could continually change the count. I think that's very important.
At the 20-yard line, and Kemp calls another timeout.
Los Angeles.
All right, well, we know that you use timeouts sometime in key situations, but Kemp has used 2 on this drive alone, Hank.
It has to be indecision, and rather than blow the play, you're better off to call timeout, even though you waste them. You don't, you know, if you come up with the right play, that's the most important thing. You can't afford to make a big mistake.
Let's check some final scores today. Green Bay, they're getting better. They won their 3rd game, beating New Orleans. Minnesota over Tampa Bay in the Central Division battle in the NFC. The Chicago Bears are now 7-3, and the Raiders lose their 3rd.
Oh, that's a real surprise.
Other scores. San Diego bounces back.
Yep, 38-10 over Indianapolis.
An overtime.
Overtime, 23-23, Philadelphia, Detroit.
Paul McFadden's kick sent it into overtime, the field goal, but they ended up in a tie, 23-23. Philadelphia 4-5-1. Cleveland beats Buffalo, so the Bills still have not won this year. Pittsburgh.
Boy, they were hot, 35-7 over Houston.
Houston hasn't won this year. They're 0-10. And the big one here that affects the St. Louis Cardinals, the Giants beating Dallas 19-7. The Cardinals with a chance to take over first place, undisputed possession in the NFC East. If not, they could be a 3- or 4-way tie in the division. First and 10 at the 20. 3:05 to go in the third. And the Rams have only one timeout left. Dickerson. And Perrin holds on for dear life.
Boy, you talk about great vision. Dickerson really has that. He started to the left side, has a great feel for cutting back, cut back, started to his left, came back to his right. Denny Perrin finally made the tackle in the open field, but that's unusual because it's hard to do that on Eric Dickerson.
This is the third quarter. Keep in mind that Dickerson came into today second in rushing in the NFL behind Walter Payton. Dickerson already has a season high.
I said it once before, and I'll say it again. I think that if there's a back in pro football today who can break Walter Payton's record, Dickerson is the guy.
Second down and 6 at the 16. Kemp incomplete, going for Ron Brown, and he had to get rid of it in a hurry because the rush was on.
Safety blitz again. Lee Nelson, number 38. You know, he is not a good cover guy, but you really have to give Floyd Peters and Tommy Bettis a lot of credit for using him the best way that he can help their team, and that's what he does best. He's a great blitzer and an excellent tackler. They never put him in a position where he has to cover very much.
And a long shot throughout his career, a walk-on in college, a 16th round draft pick. One of those guys they say has no speed, has no size, can't do anything, but he makes big plays.
You can measure the size and measure the speed, but you can't measure the size of the Valentine. That's important.
Third down and 6 at the 16 for the Rams, trailing 13-10. Kemp. And that pass is caught by Ron Brown. And it may be good enough for a first down. Let's see where they spot it. Let's check. They put it outside the 10-yard line, and it'll be close. Wayne Smith making the tackle. And judging from Brown's expression, the Rams came up short by that much.
That's a bad play on the part of Ron Brown, but of course he's a youngster, but he should, before the ball was snapped, no, I've got to get beyond the first down area, come back for the ball, but I've got to get the first down.
Now the Rams, with fourth and less than a yard, are not going to go for it. They bring in Lansford to try to tie the ball game. Your thought?
Well, I think what they feel, they want to tie the ball game before they can win it, and they're doing first things first. I think probably it's a very smart move on the part of the Rams.
27-yard attempt by Lansford. He's already kicked one from 33. This is to tie. And he does. 13-13. Mike Lansford with his second field goal of the ball game. So, Jeff Kemp, inexperienced against Neil Lomax, who's been red-hot quarterback. And Kemp has held his own. The turnover, the fumble at midfield gave the Rams the opportunity, and they got points on the board. And with a minute and 13 to go in the third quarter, we have a tie ball game, and the Rams, as you pointed out, down by 10 at the half, have come back to tie it, and it didn't take all that much to do it.
No, anytime you got big play people like they have, it's always a possibility, and they've expressed that possibility here in the second half so far. In the third quarter, with 1:13 left. But this has turned out to be a terrific football game, and we're going to see a lot of fireworks before it's all over with.
Now, the Rams, for all intents and purposes, have conceded the NFC West to the San Francisco 49ers coming in. But the 49ers were being beaten by Cincinnati, and if the Rams win and the 49ers don't win, and we'll check a score on that, they could be 2 behind, and they still play face-to-face. So maybe the season is not lost as far as first place.
No, that's right. They're still in business if that happened this afternoon.
Lansford will kick off, and Stump Mitchell and Danny Pittman are deep for the Cardinals.
The Rams have to do a good job here of covering his kick and getting good field position, not letting them get good field position. Talking about the Cardinals.
Stump Mitchell at the 10. And he's out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Ed Brady. Next week on the NFL Today, Story about the man we've been seeing a lot on the St. Louis sideline today, Jim Hannafin, a great offensive line coach with many clubs, head coach here with the Cardinals, and doing a fine job.
He's a people's guy, and he relates to this football team extremely well. They've got a good family atmosphere, and really has done a remarkable job with the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's next week on the NFL Today. Cardinals first and 10 on the 38-yard line with 1:03 remaining in the third quarter. Score is tied. And here is Earl Farrell, the fullback, who brings it out to the 41, a gain of about 4 yards on the play. Charlie DeJournay and Jim Collins make the tackle, under a minute to go. The Cincinnati Bengals, we understand, are leading the 49ers 17-10.
7-41.
And they are now in the fourth quarter.
49ers have the great capacity to take advantage late in the game. They do such a good job of throwing the football. They're another team. You never know what's going to happen until it's over with them.
Second and 7. Lomax to Marsh. Incomplete. Andrews covering on the play.
March incomplete.
It'll be third down and 7.
Andrews defending.
Other scores around the league. Miami in a tough battle with the Jets. You talked about the Jets doing better than a lot of people figured. Look at New England.
New England 16-12, and they have a lot of talent, and that doesn't really surprise me because they're very careful. Look at this, Seattle 38-0 over Kansas City.
3 interception returns by Seattle for touchdowns, ties an NFL record.
Cincinnati 17-10 over San Francisco. We talked about that a moment ago.
And we'll be watching that game too. Third down and 7. Lomax escapes. Running for the first down. He's got it. Neil Lomax, with the ability to scramble, has a first down for the Cardinals at midfield.
That's a dimension that is so vitally important in football today. The quarterback who can run by design and has great escapability skill. Reggie Dawes had a shot at him and missed the tackle, and Neil Lomax knew exactly where he had to go for the first down and made it, and was hit late there by Andrews, number 52.
And the gun sounds. That ends the third quarter with the score. The Cardinals 13 and the Rams 13. And we now pause. We begin the fourth quarter here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis with the score tied 13 apiece. And following a Neil Lomax scamper, first and 10 for the Cardinals at midfield. Roy Green, who caught a touchdown pass today, goes in motion both ways. Lomax steps up and dumps it off to Otis Anderson. And Anderson is brought down a yard or two shy of a first down by Mel Owens.
He wants to get the ball downfield, talking about Lomax, but he gets pretty good penetration. Youngblood finally gets penetration, and there you see in the flat Otis Anderson. He dumps the ball off to him, and of course that's a great thing about a great running back like Anderson or Dickerson. You dump the ball off to him, they catch it for a 1-yard gain and then run for another 8, and it's a big play.
He's caught 5. He set a club mark for running backs as the receiver with 54 catches last year, trying to run for the 2 yards, and may not have it on second down and 2. Hank, the score was 13-3 in favor of the Cardinals. Early in the third quarter, St. Louis at midfield had punt formation, and they tried to, a trick play, and having Stum Mitchell run for it. It's worked against other clubs this year, and it backfired, and then the Rams came back and has since tied the game.
Well, I think anytime, it's easy to look back on that play now and make an observation about it, and I should have made it at the time, but we were so engrossed in the way they threw the ball around that we didn't mention it. But I think anytime that you're ahead in the ball game, you don't want to do anything at all to put your team in jeopardy and say we're going to give the other team a chance to get back in this ball game. You've got to play solid, sound football, and I think that's the rule of thumb in that kind of a situation.
Third and 1, George Andrews and Reggie Dawes make the tackle, and it's going to be very close for the first down. Now, here was a second and 2. The Cardinals went to Anderson twice. And let's see where they put the ball. It's going to be fourth down, I believe. And the Cardinals are going to go for it on fourth down. You talk about that trick play when the lead, and we've seen Hannafin go for a first down twice on fourth and less than a yard.
Well, he's got to go for it here, I think, Dick. I think this is a good call because in all probability, they kick the ball in the end zone. You wind up with the ball in the 20, so you wind up with about a 20-yard difference in the play. And so he's wise to go for it. Looks like he might do something to the left side.
Randy Love carrying, and he may not have made it. Gets away, bounces off the defender, and Randy Love is a first down at the 32-yard line. What a play by Randy Love, who's been around 10 years and started his career with the Cardinals. Collins and Johnny Johnson penetrated.
He was stopped at the line of scrimmage. Watch this now. Watch Collins, number 50, has a great chance to make the play. He runs right through him, and finally Cromwell knocks him out of bounds. Boy, what a great play on the part of Randy Love.
Here's how Hannafin reacted to Randy Love's great second effort. And a first down for St. Louis on the 32 of the Rams. A lot of time to go. 12:40 in a tie ball game. Stump Mitchell, the running back. Lomax finds Mitchell all alone. Penalty marker down. Mitchell will have a first down to the 20 if that penalty is against the Rams. But a flag down. Cromwell makes the hit on Stump, who was wide open on the right side.
Boy, he was wide open. He looked like he came off the sideline that time and ran out of the bleachers. He was so open.
But it'll all go for naught. Holding called against St. Louis. And an injured player as well. Stump Mitchell shaken up. Pat Tilley over there. They're going to take a timeout.
Offensive right tackle. Still first down.
Judy Robbins, number 63. They're playing for first place, the Cardinals are, and they're tied with 12:33 to go in the fourth quarter. And that does everything for the Cardinals. Returns kicks, he runs, catch passes. In a lot of ways, it's like losing 3 players if Stump Mitchell is out of action.
Yeah, that's really a good observation because he does so many things that he's a very valuable guy to the offense and to the specialty team.
He gets a hand. Imagine he doesn't start. Backs up Otis Anderson. Came into the game with 8 touchdowns. Second in the NFC rushing to John Riggins.
And he's very happy to be making a contribution. And I asked him yesterday, you know, if you had your druthers, how many times you had a chance to call it, how many times we'd like to run the ball in every game. He said, oh, gosh, anywhere from 20 to 25 times, which is typical of running backs because they love to run the football, and that's what they're paid to do. And they take a lot of pride in their ability to run the ball.
When he was drafted on the 9th round, Jim Hannafin called to say, you're a Cardinal, and he says, I'm kind of upset. How come it took so long to draft me? And Hannafin says, it wasn't my fault. And Mitchell says, well, I'm going to make your ball club.
Yeah, and he was very concerned about the fact that they also had O.J. Anderson at that time. And that concerned him a little bit, but he said, in spite of that, I'm going to go over to your club and make your team, which he did.
First down and 20 at the 42-yard line. Lomax way back, loops it up for Farrell, a fullback, who is hit at the 35-yard line. Jimmy Collins makes the hit, and the ball was jarred away, and Terry Steve recovered. That was a fumble.
Boy, Jim Collins, number 50. Watch 50 drop back. Number 50, watch him. They dump the ball inside. It's a middle screen. And he makes good contact, but Terry Steve, the left guard, number 68, makes the recovery.
Second down and 13 at the 35-yard line. 13-13 to score. Tipped up, penalty flag down. It was battered at the line of scrimmage by Jack Youngblood, but a flag is down.
Got to be another holding penalty at that position on the field, and it is.
Now, the Rams do not have that heralded pass rush, as we pointed out today, although they do have 4 sacks, and now the line seems to be holding more than they did early in the game.
Well, they're rushing the linebacker. They're blitzing the linebacker a lot of the time, so really they're not getting a 3-man rush. They're getting a 4-man rush, and Andrews is like a defensive end, and he gets good penetration and gets in there very quickly.
Number 63, offense.
Judy Robbins, the right tackle. So they were second and 13. Now they'll be second down and 23, the ball back at the 45-yard line. There's Robbins.
See, Andrews is 6'3" and 225, and he's very much like a defensive end, and that's why they like to blitz him like they do.
A lot of penalties for St. Louis. territory at the 45. 13-13 the score.
Four-man rush.
Penalty flag down again. Lomax looking. Dumps it off to Willard Harrell. And Harrell scampers his way inside the 35-yard line. But a penalty marker is down. Another penalty maybe against the Cardinals. It is.
You know, that's the one thing about when you use a lot of formations, you use a lot of motion, sometimes you get a little careless.
Illegal motion, number 67, Hoppin. Still second down.
Louis Sharp.
Boy, that's murder when you stop yourself.
Well, this is the fourth quarter. It's early in the fourth quarter, and the score is tied. But keep in mind that if you look at what the teams have done, both the Rams and the Cardinals, this has been the weakest quarter for the Rams all year, and it's been the strongest for St. Louis, if that's any omen. Second down and 28 at midfield. Lomax on a swing pass. Willard Harrell tackled. Gained a few. Leroy Irvin and George Andrews, just a couple, but got a long way to go. It'll be third down and well over 20.
Leroy Irvin really made a great play in the open field. Terry Steve was going to block him, number 68, to left guard. He eluded him and was in a good position to make the play. Terrific play by Irvin, number 47.
Third down and 25 at the 47. They're retaping Stump Mitchell's right ankle on the sidelines. So hopefully he'll return. There he is. Harrell and Anderson are the backs along with Lomax in the spread. Third and 25. Lomax is sacked. Loses the ball, and the Rams recover, I believe. That's the story. L.A. on the 45. Desjardins made the hit, and it was Greg Meisner who recovered the fumble for the Rams. Another fumble for the Cardinals, and a big recovery for L.A.
Watch number 70, Desjardins. Number 70, left tackle in your picture. There he is. He goes to the outside, gets around the block of the offensive tackle, gets penetration, makes the sack, the ball falls loose, and it's recovered by Meisner, number 69.
L.A. ball for their opponents 2-1 in the fourth quarters of this year. Kurt Alleman is still out of the lineup, shaken up. Bob Harris has been playing middle linebacker. First and 10 at the 45 in St. Louis. 13-13 the score. Cardinals have not scored in the second half. Here's Dickerson. Eric Dickerson inside the 40, and Dickerson still going downfield, tackled from behind, but not before. The Rams have first and 10 at the 15-yard line. A 30-yard pickup by Eric Dickerson. Thomas Howard and Bob Harris to play.
And David Hill really made a great block, number 81. You see him out to your left side there. He makes the block on the linebacker, gives him a big cavity to run through. And, of course, anytime that you give Dickerson any kind of running room, boy, he's going to make the most of it. He did on that play. Plain pitch out to the outside, look at the block and get the point of attack. And he goes right down that sideline. Benny Perrin gets a piece of him, but he finally tackled from behind. And they have a big first down on about the 15.
And that's a career high for Eric Dickerson, 206 yards. He's well over 1,000. He had over 1,800 last year and was the NFL's leading rusher. There he goes again, but no cigar. 1 yard, and that's all. He was stuffed by Lee Nelson and Benny Perrin from the secondary. But Eric Dickerson going over 1,000 yards for the second time and in his career, and over 200 yards, a career high for number 29. And I don't know if the Rams will win, but he has really bounced back from last week's tough game.
Well, he's a great back, and the amazing thing about him is, you know, he runs so straight up in the air. It's amazing that he's as durable as he has been because he hasn't been hurt that much and been out of games.
He also has moved ahead of Walter Payton for the NFL rushing lead. Second down and 9 at the 14. Kemp to throw, drills it, incomplete. He was looking for Ellard, and it wasn't near him. Lionel Washington was all over Ellard. It'll be third and 9 with 9:04 remaining in the fourth quarter. The comparison, Walter Payton now trailing Eric Dickerson for the NFL rushing lead this year. Dickerson at 38 yards last week against San Francisco. The clock, 3rd and 9.
We'll probably see a run here.
They got Lansford, I was going to say, exercising that bare foot on the sideline.
No, he's going to throw the ball.
Kemp getting a rush, gets rid of it, and let's see, no flag down, no intentional rushing, no sack. It'll be an incomplete pass, but Stafford Mays, the designated pass rusher for the Cardinals, putting the heat on Jeff Kemp.
In that situation, that's the thing you got to be concerned about. You go back in the pocket to throw the ball. If you get a sack, you make it that much more difficult for your kicker to make the kick. And as good as Dickerson is, why, I'm really kind of surprised he didn't run the ball again there, even on the short, long yardage situation.
The Rams, however, have a chance to take the lead. The first time since Lansford put him in front. He is 2 for 3 in the game. He has made good from 33 and 27 yards, missed one from 51. This will be from 32 yards with Nolan Cromwell holding. And the kick is good in the Rams, who had a 3-0 lead early and then saw it dissolve and were down by 10, have regained the lead since early in the ball game, 16-13 on Mike Lansford's third field goal of the ball game from 32 yards out. Plenty of time remaining, 8 minutes and 54 seconds. Here's how John Robinson followed the ball, Hank.
He's all pumped up there, giving a little cheer. Yeah, there he goes.
He'll go full fist if they win the game. That was only a half one. 16-13 the score. Interestingly enough, after the Cardinals try to run from punt formation, something that, by the way, didn't work against Dallas, even though St. Louis came back and won. It's been 13 unanswered points for the Rams to take a 16-13 lead. Keep in mind that 2 fumbles by the Cardinals resulted in field goals also to give L.A. that lead of 3. Pittman and Harris